What was the weapon used to murder Sayaka Maizono?
It was the blade sticking out of Maizono's stomach. Without a doubt, that was the murder weapon!
The culprit took the dagger and frickin' shanked her with it.
You got that wrong! That blade wasn't a dagger. It was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
One of the knives from the kitchen was found missing after the incident.
And it was that knife which was used for the murder.
Yeah, you're probably right. If you look real close, the thing sticking out of the chick's gut does look like a knife.
Yeah, we get it. She was killed with a knife. What's your point? I mean, really, any way you spin it, Naegi's still the killer.
That's right. Naegi's room was the crime scene. What more proof could you want?
Wait a minute!
You defeat the purpose of this trial by drawing a conclusion before we've finished our debate.
I'm just saying, the outcome ain't gonna change no matter how much we talk about it.
No, that's not true. I'm certain we'll reach a breakthrough if we continue the debate.
A breakthrough?
She's right. There's gotta be more buried here. Because I myself know that I'm not the culprit, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Alright, so the weapon was a knife. But what's your point?
Naegi took it from the kitchen. When the cafeteria was empty, he snuck it out.
That's wrong! Wait, it wasn't me who took the knife from the kitchen.
Next you're going to say, I'm not the culprit. Say all you want. You're just talk.
And what if I said there was a witness? Isn't that right, Asahina?
Huh?
I mean, you told me so yourself.
Last night, I came here to have some tea. When I went into the kitchen, they were all there. But when I finished drinking my tea in the cafeteria, I went into the kitchen to clean up. And it was gone.
So the knife disappeared while you were in the cafeteria drinking tea?
Yeah.
Asahina, the knife disappeared while you were in the cafeteria, right?
Yeah, it did.
And did I come to the cafeteria while you were there?
I don't think you did.
You don't think?
No, he didn't. I'm positive.
The knife was taken while Asahina was in the cafeteria, yet I didn't go there during that time. In other words, I couldn't have taken the knife!
In that case, what about this? Makoto Naegi and that brainless mermaid are accomplices, and she's falsifying her testimony.
Brainless mermaid? Wait a sec, why am I an accomplice?
On the subject, I'd like to ask the teddy bear. If there's an accomplice, are they too considered a villain?
Well, here's your answer. While it is possible to bring along an accomplice for a murder, only the perpetrator himself can grudge.
Which means, no matter how much they assist in the crime, the accomplice has nothing to gain.
It doesn't seem likely there's an accomplice.
But the culprit might have not known about that rule.
Ugh, just get on with it! Come on! There's no accomplice this time! Oops! I said too much.
Anyway, I didn't go to the cafeteria, and I didn't take the knife. Which means I'm not the culprit!
Then, who really did go get the knife?
Is it possible that Asahina, who was in the cafeteria the entire time, could have done it?
No! It wasn't me!
Is there perchance another who could corroborate that?
Last night, I was in the cafeteria drinking tea with Sakura the entire time.
Just for the record, Sakura is... Gotcha.
So either Hina or Ogre snuck out with the knife?
Nope, that's not possible, because,
Out with it!
Last night, I slept in Asahina's room.
I was scared after watching that creepy video, so I kinda forced Sakura to stay the night. So anyway, we've both got alibis.
Isn't that against the rules?
It is prohibited to sleep outside a bedroom, but sleeping in someone else's room isn't prohibited. So, I don't think there's any problem.
Of course there's a problem! It's unwholesome! A man and a woman sleeping in the same room!
But I am female.
Forgive me.
But if the two in the cafeteria didn't do it, then there are no other...
No, there remains another option. Does there not, Asahina?
Yeah, actually, while we were in the cafeteria, one other person did come by.
And this didn't come up earlier? Why?
Because it's someone who's no longer here.
Someone no longer here? She can possibly mean...
The one who came to the cafeteria was the victim, Sayaka Maizono.
Maizono? In which case, the person who took the knife is... So, it was Maizono who took the knife?
That is indeed how it appears to be. Furthermore, thinking back on it now, her behavior was a little unusual. She entered the cafeteria and went straight to the kitchen, not a glance in our direction. She said she came for a drink of water, but more than likely that was when...
So the one who took the knife was the victim herself, Maizono?
I'm sure she thought she could use it to defend herself.
So the culprit stole the knife that Maizono took to defend herself, then killed her with it. Which means just because someone didn't take the knife doesn't mean they're in the clear.
Yes! See? Naegi really is the culprit after all.
I told you! I didn't do it!
So that was your goal all along, to twist the discussion and lead us down the wrong path? You are the proprietor of a terrifying ability.
Crap. At this rate, I really will be named the culprit. Why don't you get it, guys? If you decide I'm the culprit, everyone is dead!
Wait. Don't you think it's a little early to declare Naegi the culprit? The culprit took actions which are inconceivable for the owner of the room. Until we solve the aforementioned mystery, can we say for sure Naegi is the culprit?
Inconceivable? The hell are you talking about?
Something you'd expect to find in Naegi's room, the crime scene, was conspicuously missing. You know where this is going, don't you, Naegi?
Something we would expect to find at the crime scene, but wasn't there? I can feel it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. That's right! There wasn't even a single strand of hair in my room!
So you're saying the culprit destroyed evidence?
Now, if I were the culprit, would I really need to clean my own room so thoroughly of hair? I mean, there's nothing unusual about my own hair being in my own room, is there?
You cleaned the room of hair to remove any trace of the fact that Maizono had visited your room. Is that so hard to believe?
If he wanted to remove any trace of her, rather than her hair, he would have removed her corpse.
A reasonable claim. But then, why wasn't there any hair?
Because the culprit cleaned it, of course. To hide the fact that they had visited the room.
Which means...
Yes, it's unthinkable that the culprit could be the owner of the room.
Naegi isn't the culprit?
But is it acceptable to make such an important decision based solely on hair?
No, there is further foundation on which we can say Naegi is not the culprit.
We are listening.
Think back on the vicinity of the shower, where the crime took place. Maizono was first attacked in Naegi's room, and after that, she fled into the shower.
The culprit chased after her into the shower. There, he stabbed and killed her.
At that time, was the culprit able to enter the shower unhindered?
Whatever do you mean?
In order to enter the shower, the culprit had to exert considerable effort. Doing so, the culprit would have left behind clear evidence. Do you remember, Naegi?
The culprit had to exert considerable effort to enter the shower. The evidence of that is... I think the culprit broke. The shower's doorknob is evidence of the effort the culprit took, right?
What happened to the doorknob, dude?
It was broken. The doorknob to my bedroom shower was broken. See? The upper screws were removed, and the doorknob was undone.
It's true. But why is the doorknob?
To break the shower's lock, the culprit removed the entire doorknob. This is another action inconceivable of the room's owner. Further basis Naegi couldn't be the culprit.
You're saying he wouldn't bust down his own door? But if he had to break it down, he'd break it down! Hardly inconceivable.
So you still don't understand. In that case, let's go back over the progression of the crime. I'm sure you'll understand then.
What Kirigiri means by actions inconceivable of the room's owner is hidden in the progression of the crime?
the incident occurred in Naegi's bedroom. Maizono was first attacked in the room, then fled into the shower.
Chasing after her. The culprit entered the shower.
Then the culprit broke the doorknob, because the shower door was locked.
You've got that wrong! The reason my shower door wouldn't open isn't because it was locked. That's because only the girls' rooms have locks on their shower doors, right?
Now that you mention it, that is the case.
Then why wouldn't Naegi's shower door open?
Because of the door's alignment.
Huh? Your door's alignment?
The door to my shower isn't aligned properly. Monokuma can attest to that.
Yes, he speaks the truth. But for the super duper high school luckster Naegi to get the only room with a misaligned door. Ooh, boo boo. That's not good luck at all.
The shower door wouldn't open because it was misaligned. But the culprit mistook it for being locked. For that reason, the culprit broke the whole doorknob.
Though, why would the culprit mistakenly think the door was locked? Every one of us should have known the boys' rooms don't have locks on their showers.
The culprit made that mistake because they were unaware of an important fact about the scene.
The killer assumed the shower door was locked. Because they didn't know that the room wasn't supposed to have a lock. Which means they couldn't have known that they were in... The culprit most likely didn't know the crime scene was my room.
What? The killer didn't know where the crime took place? Unprecedented!
But he's right.
What?
Though, to be more precise, the culprit didn't know that Naegi and Maizono had exchanged rooms. For that reason, the culprit mistook the room Maizono was in for her own bedroom.
And so, believing the shower door to be locked, he destroyed the lock.
Unaware of the futility of his actions.
In the end, there's no saying whether it was the culprit's use of force or the whims of fate, but in all the confusion, I doubt the culprit knew exactly why it opened either.
Whatever the case, he had quite the roundabout methodology, trying to break a non-existent lock.
There's no way I'd do something like that, knowing why the door didn't open, right?
I admit, you're probably right.
Then the culprit is someone who didn't know about the room exchange?
Naegi doesn't fit the profile.
And I've been saying as much from the start.
Then who is the killer?
Pardon me, but I'm laying down my key.
What'll happen if we don't find out who the killer is?
Alright, then we'll just decide it by majority vote.
You can just do that?
Anyway, ain't this kinda bad? Someone's gotta do something, true as truth. Or...
It doesn't matter how insignificant it may seem. Is there anyone who has any sort of uncertainty?
Ah, I have one.
Oh, you?
Why do you sound so disappointed?
Hurry up and tell us, Asahina!
Ah, yeah. So, I was thinking, how did the culprit get into Naegi's room in the first place?
Indeed, the method the culprit used to enter the crime scene.
Could Maizono have dropped the room key and then the culprit found it?
I don't think she would have dropped it so conveniently.
Then, did he pick the lock?
No. The lock should be equipped with an anti-picking mechanism.
Then allow me to answer. The culprit used a much simpler method. The culprit disguised himself as a visitor, and Maizono invited him in herself.
No, that's not right.
Oh, someone doesn't know their place. You're quite something to be contradicting me. Arietta Naegi, how can you be so sure that I'm wrong?
It's because she was scared that she asked me for that in the first place. That should be sufficient evidence. Some evidence showing Maizono almost certainly wouldn't have invited someone into the room. Maizono was afraid, remember? That's why she asked to exchange rooms with me. You too, Maizono. Don't open the door for anyone, no matter what.
Even if I'm sure it's you, I won't open the door. Otherwise, trading rooms would be a little pointless.
I can't imagine she would open the door herself after saying that to me.
And what if her fear itself was a lie?
Huh? What are you saying? Why would she tell a lie like that?
You probably don't want to consider the possibility, Naegi, but can you still say that after seeing this?
I want to speak with you alone. Please come to my room in 5 minutes. Be sure to check the nameplates so you don't get the wrong room.
By rubbing a pencil over the top page of the notepad in a certain room, this message appeared.
Ah, I've seen that on TV before. Writing in a notepad leaves marks on the next page that you can see by rubbing over it with a pencil. When I saw that, I thought, when writing in a notepad, you gotta tear out a page first.
It's an old trick, but the classics can be surprisingly helpful. For the record, that notepad was found on the desk in Naegi's room.
Huh?
In summary, only someone who had been in Naegi's room prior could have left this note.
Either the room's owner, Naegi, or the one who exchanged rooms with him last night, Maizono.
Naegi, did you write this?
No, I didn't.
Indeed. This note also has what appears to be Maizono's signature.
And then this note was written by Maizono? But why would she write a note like that?
She was trying to call on a certain person. In doing so, she made use of that note. By slipping the note under the door, she attempted to call upon them in secret.
To be summoned in that fashion by the super-duper high school idol would Oko any guy. Though that doesn't apply to me with my 2-dimension restriction.
However, does the supposed character called upon by that letter actually exist? Even assuming such a character exists, it's unthinkable that they could be involved in the incident.
Huh? Why
not? Wouldn't you like to know? Then, allow me to tell you. Maizono and Naegi exchanged rooms, did they not? My room is the meeting place.
Oh yeah, if they were summoned by that note, they would have gone to Maizono's room.
Maizono's room, where Naegi was.
That's not right! My room and Maizono's room had our nameplates swapped.
The nameplates?
Yes, just like the room exchange. Because of that, the nameplate on Maizono's room, where Naegi was, said Makoto Naegi. And the nameplate on Naegi's room, where Maizono was, said Sayaka Maizono.
In other words, Maizono really was in the room with the Sayaka Maizono nameplate.
So if they did as the note said, they would have gone to Naegi's room where Maizono was.
On top of that, the rooms are right next to each other. Perfect for a nameplate swap. So, who did it? Naturally, you didn't do it, did you, Naegi?
No.
Then, who are you saying did it?
Who could have swapped the nameplates? It could have only been that person. The only one other than me who knew about the room exchange. The only people who knew about the room exchange in the first place were me and Maizono. Therefore, other than me, the only person who could have swapped the nameplates is Maizono.
You can also infer that from the content of her note.
I want to speak with you alone. Please come to my room in 5 minutes. Be sure to check the nameplate so you don't get the room wrong.
She told the recipient to check the room's nameplate. She couldn't have written that without knowing about the nameplate swap.
But why would Maizono do something like swap their nameplates?
She wanted to call someone to the room she was in while keeping the room exchange a secret.
Huh?
What's the purpose of doing all that? Calling on someone while still keeping the room exchange a secret?
In order to understand that, we need to know what happened in the room after she invited that person inside.